Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bonnie if you're new, and I'd love if you subscribe. So today I just wanted to talk about why we picked the girl and boy name we have picked out and what the last name is going to be. I'm going to start with the first names and middle names and then talk about the last names last. I'm going to start with the girl name first because that's what we picked out first. So pretty much like right around the time I got pregnant, me and Brandon actually were talking about girl names. Can't really remember why. But we were talking about how in his family he really wanted to name Aaliyah Maria because there's a tradition in his family that the girl's first name is Maria, but because her mom didn't want to name her that, they named her middle name Marie, which is Hannah's middle name as well, Marie. So he said that to me and he was like, well, if we ever have a girl, he said, I really want to name her Maria still. And I was like, no, because like two of the sisters' names, middle names are Marie, so like that's too much. Then I said how I wanted to name the girls Raina, which is similar to Maria. Like, I don't know, it has a lot of like, obviously it's not that like the exact same, but it's close. Girly and not rhyming. So some names that I liked at the beginning were, and I still like to this day, were Brooklyn, Elena, and Raina, and we couldn't name it Raina because his oldest daughter's middle name is Rain. So he said that was too common and he didn't really want to do that, so Rain was off the table, and he didn't like Elena and he didn't like Brooklyn. But if it was just me, my twins would have had one of those names. Elena and Raina, Elena and Brooklyn, Brooklyn and Raina, Brooklyn and yeah, anyways. That's what their names would have been. He actually really loved that name, so it's kind of just always like, that was kind of the name that just kind of like stuck. I thought of other names, like I wrote a list down of other names that I liked, thinking like that maybe he didn't actually like that name and that he was just kind of like agreeing with me at the time. But yeah, so that's how we picked out Raina, because it's similar to Maria, and I love it, and yeah, he loves it. We don't like Rain. There will be no shortening of the name to Rain. No. And then so for the middle name we picked Rose because he really wanted to pick middle names that mean something, which that doesn't mean anything. Like, middle names don't have to mean something to me. I just want them to flow. That's what I want. So I actually am gonna read out the list of names that we had to choose from our family members because they're doozies. Okay, so for the girl names we have Joyce Ellen, Nellie, Nancy Joy, Anita Marie, Brenda Lorraine, and Olivia Lola. None of those go with Rain. And then for the boy names, we had Gerald John, Charles Franklin, Frederick, George Albert, Roy Abel, and Muriel. All of those sound terrible as well. So Brandon's super sentimental and it's really adorable. I'm not. So he is so like, it means so much to him that he doesn't even want to pick middle names. He would like it to be like somebody's first name, and like the first names were even like, not like, even like, yeah, harsher sounding with any of the like names that we had picked out. So Rose is actually my middle name, that's why it's not on the list, but it just sounded like Raina Rose. That flows together, it has some meaning, it's my middle name. Like, I like my middle name. Did it have any meaning? I don't think so, but it kind of has meaning to the baby now. And then for the boy name, we were just like going through lists. I told him that he had to go through lists because I had like a boy name that I really liked, and that'll be in my names that I love but won't be using video. And I went through all the names and I couldn't find any, like, well, I found some names, but he didn't like any of them. Picking boy names I feel like is really hard because like, I wanted something unique, but I didn't want anything like weird and new. Like, I don't really like the new names, and he doesn't really like the new names. Like, I don't know. Boy names are weird. I didn't really think about that too much when I was pregnant with the girls because I had Jaden picked out for boy, which I'm not in love with anymore. So I never really like looked into it too much, but yeah, picking boy names is hard. So he suggested Jackson, and Jax was on my list, J-A-X. I'm pretty sure he suggested like looking up what it meant, and it actually means the same thing as Hannah, but when I just tried to look it up to screenshot it before I started filming this video, it also just means like son of Jack, And it was really hard to find the meaning of Hannah, but I can't remember what culture or whatever thing it is, but it means favored by the grace of God, which is the same meaning as Hannah, which is favored by the grace of God, which is why I gave Hannah her name and I didn't give Hailey Hannah's name, because Hannah was the one with all the medical problems and I just felt like that was really good. So then that kind of made me grow on Jackson. Like, I never thought that I would want to name my kid Jackson because it seems like a super common name, but we are spelling it a little bit different and I want to call him Jax, and he's fine with the fact that we want to call him Jax. So like when you look at the name, it doesn't even look like Jackson, but like to me it doesn't, you know. But yeah, and it's good because I didn't really necessarily want to call my kid just Jax. So yeah, I get to call him Jax, but he also gets like the name Jackson if he wants to be more sophisticated. And for middle names, again, I really wanted to name if I had a boy, after my dad, but his name was Gerald John and he went by Jerry, and Jackson Gerald, Jackson John. I don't know, like the John part didn't really mean much to me to give him his middle name, and I just didn't really like the flow. But Brandon's middle name is Roy, Brandon Roy, and his grandpa's name is actually Roy. And Brandon's always really loved his middle name because it means something to him and it's his grandpa's. And I love Jax and Roy together. I just feel like it flows really nicely, and like my dad's dead and like he meant a lot to me, but you know, Brandon's grandpa is still alive and he'll actually get to enjoy the name. It's just a name. It doesn't have to be after my dad or anybody, but I do really like the two names together, so I'm sold that my boy won't have my dad's name. I like the name together. And then for last names, his last name, I don't know if I want to say it. I don't know. It's not really a secret. I guess it's on Instagram, so I guess it's fine. His last name is Merrick, so we're gonna hyphenate them, and his daughter's last name is hyphenated already, so I didn't even have to fight with him about that. And I don't actually even want my child with a hyphenated last name, but because of the fact I went so, like, I had to go out of my way to get the girl's last name changed from their dad, and now like we have matching last names, it just means a lot to me that like we continue to all have a little bit of matching last names. And the fact that I got burnt, I feel like I got burnt, and so did the girls, with their dad, because he was involved, he picked the names, he wanted his last name, and then he's not involved at all, and then like for a kid to be stuck with that last name, I don't know. So yeah, because of the fact that we all have matching last names, like if my last name was different than the girls, I might not care so much, but like Brandon's happy and fine that, oh, we're doing a hyphenated last name. So we haven't decided which one's gonna go first. At first I thought it sounded better for it to be Merrick Harris, but then he's been kind of liking the sound of Harris Merrick better. It doesn't really matter. But I think when it comes time to go to school, like legally I want the child to have both names. I don't want the baby to have a huge name all through school, so I think that we're just gonna pick his last name during school and that it can just go by that. As long as when mail comes and when we go to the doctor's office and things like that, we're all matching, that's just what I care about. But yeah, anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it, and give it a thumbs up if you did, and I'll see you in your next video. Bye.